What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Alex, and today I'm going to be talking about the sequel to Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, and that is Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. After reuniting with Gwen Stacy, Miles Morales, Brooklyn's full-time friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, is catapulted across the multiverse, where he encounters a team of spider people charged with protecting its very existence. But when the heroes clash on how to handle a new threat, Miles finds himself pitted against the other spiders and must redefine what it means to be a hero so he can save the people he loves most. This is a highly anticipated movie for me. I mean, obviously, we're doing another Spider-Man multiverse movie. We already got it with Spider-Man No Way Home. It was teased a little bit in Far From Home. It wasn't completely established there, although we had our suspicions at that point. And 2018 Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse with different Spider-Mans was really our first dabble into what a theatrical Spider-Verse movie could look like. And that movie was really, really fucking good. And it's good to have that movie fresh in your mind. So if you haven't seen it in a while, I would suggest watch it before this movie, because let me just say this about Across the Spider-Verse. Holy shit. My mind is completely blown. Miles Morales is the anchor to this movie as much as Gwen Stacy is. I know that she's known as Spider-Gwen. Just easier for me to refer to her as Gwen Stacy. But there's an elongated opening, an extended opening, that focuses only on Gwen and her perspective of what the movie is setting her up for, and Miles Morales is completely absent. I'm not getting into spoilers here, but just as a way to establish my point with Gwen Stacy, she's as important to this movie as Miles Morales is. They both anchor this thing with so many great emotional beats, great character arcs, great dynamic between each other, the mutual respect, the distrust that they feel at times between each other, and the ever-growing, budding relationship there is all wonders to behold. And Shamik Moore is a great voice talent for Miles Morales, but I think Haley Steinfeld is by far the best voice of Gwen Stacy, or even the best Gwen Stacy put on screen. The actual animation and the character design for Gwen Stacy in both these movies really, for me, I feel like nobody else could voice Gwen Stacy other than Haley Steinfeld. She nails it, and Shamik Moore as Miles Morales puts it out of the park as well. There are supporting characters from the first one that weren't in the first one all that much, but have extended roles in this one. That was very nice to see. The different uses of animation was so clever to establish and distinguish between the different multiverses of the Spider-Verse. In Gwen's world, when she goes back, it's really this kind of like messy, watercolored painting-esque looking world, whereas you go into Miles's dimension, and it feels more like a comic book leaping off the pages and coming to life. That's how I felt with the first movie, but there are so many. I'm not going to get into some of the other different animation styles because I want you to experience all that for yourself. It was just a clever choice to go down that route, to distinguish the different worlds and to give each world its own personality. The dimensions in this movie felt like characters themselves, as did the music and the soundtrack. When there were musical beats happening in this movie, I felt like I was reading a comic book or playing like Spider-Man Shattered Dimensions. It felt like a platforming game that you were playing, but you weren't playing, you were watching, but it had that type of music to it. Like something like Ghost Runner, there's a lot of music similar to that in this movie, and it really, really spices up a lot of the action. It really makes the action feel frenetic and fresh and really exciting. The song choices are there for different types of characters, and they fit each and every character in every situation that those characters are put through. It fits so perfectly. I cannot commend the filmmakers enough for using music as a character the way that they did in this movie, similar to how they used all the animation in this movie as different characters as well. There's going to be a lot of people that are going to say that this movie might be a bit too ambitious, and that might be because they have lofty expectations. They might want to see certain versions of Spider-Man that are just not going to do anything. They're just going to pop up and be like, hey, I'm here, and it's a cameo. And they're going to expect a lot of things to happen with those that make cameos and just pop in to say hi or say pizza time, and that's it. I will say, I think the use of all the Spider-Mans was perfect. It wasn't like there was an overuse of a certain Spider-Man. All the new Spider-Mans that were supporting characters that were major players in this movie, I loved every single one of them. Daniel Kaluuya voices one of them, and I didn't even know it was Daniel Kaluuya. He's that good, and that character was amazing. It was the funniest. He was the funniest character. The humor lands again. There are some moments where it doesn't land, but it lands again, and it's wicked, wicked funny. I was dying laughing in so many parts. It's an ambitious movie. I don't know if it's gonna rattle a lot of feathers like something like Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness did, where I know people had lofty expectations for Multiverse of Madness. They walked out of it upset that it wasn't a giant Avengers crossover and instead was an actual movie that had Doctor Strange as the central part of the movie, as it should, because it's a Doctor Strange movie. So I really don't know what people's expectations are going to be, what people's thoughts are going to be when they actually see certain things that they expect to happen that don't happen. And I'm really looking forward to seeing what the chatter about the ending of this movie is going to be. I'm not going to say how it ends, but rather just kind of describe. I don't know. I feel like if I do that, I'm getting into spoiler territory because people are going to be like, oh, you're spoiling it. But I don't know. It seemed like it was ramping up for another 30 minutes and then it ends. And you're just like, oh, come on. The ball tickling and the teasing, and you got to end it like that. So it's gonna be interesting to see what people think about the ending and all of the ambitious risks that this movie takes, especially with some versions of Spider-Man that, you know, are have been previously established. I don't know if people are going to necessarily agree with everything that happens with Miguel O'Hara and the 2099 Spider-Man, who is voiced magnificently by Oscar Isaac. I don't know if people are going to handle there being essentially two antagonists in this movie, the Spot and Miguel O'Hara. They are two antagonists in this movie. And it does feel like the movie is at times at conflict with itself as to which of the two it wants to have as its main villain. But once it is actually made clear who the main villain is, you understand why the other antagonist is part of the movie and why that antagonist is the supporting antagonist rather than the main antagonist. And even if it did feel like that Miguel O'Hara had a little bit of minimal screen time in this movie, I'm expecting a lot in the next one, Beyond the Spider-Verse, where I feel like everything's going to come to a head. This movie is beyond perfect. It's a Spider-Man fan's wild, insane dream. It's a pipe dream. It's what we want to see leaping from the comics to the big screen. And animation is just another way to do it instead of live action. Not every Spider Man thing that's great has to be live action. And I really, 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 really dug how this movie was able to weave so many different versions of Spider-Man into this one movie and still didn't feel overcrowded. I don't know how they did it. It's mind-blowing. I loved every single second of this movie. And for the third time this year, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse belongs in popcorn heaven. I had two movies last year that I gave perfect scores to. It's May, and there's already three this year. Movies are back. Bring it on. I am ready for June to deliver as it's shaping up to deliver. This is a great start when this comes out on Friday. I cannot wait to see this again. I will see it again before I do a spoiler review for this movie because it is a lot to take in. It is a lot to try and comprehend and try and remember on one viewing, but seeing it again is gonna be awesome. It is gonna really help a lot with that, and will help you take it in a lot more. Maybe compress a lot of those thoughts that you might have, positive or negative, down and make it more simple to comprehend. But if you have seen it, if you did get an early screening, or if you are going to see it, let me know what you think of it once you do see it in the comment section below. I'll leave my link to my website in the description below as well. You guys are the best. Thank you for watching. My name is Alex Madden, and I will see you at the movies somewhere.